ছায়া বেগদামি ছায়া দোষা সোদে ছায়া গুণা দেহ দাসে छय सतसंग देह है हमारे छय सतसंग प्रभुपाद 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 छय सतसंग देह है हमारे छय सतसंग देह है हमारे বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে বসেছি ओहे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर ए दासे करो न करी ओहे वैष्णव ठाकुर एकाकी आमार नहीं पाए बल हरि नाम संकीर्तन एकाकी आमार नहीं पाए बल हरि नाम संकीर्तन तुम्हें कृपा करे श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया तुम्हें कृपा তুমি কৃপা করে শ্রদ্ধা বিন্দু দিয়া তুমি কৃপা করে দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে देह कृष्ण नाम धने ओहे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर ए दासे करुणा करी ओहे कृष्ण से तुम्हार कृष्ण दीते पार तुम्हारा सकती आछे कृष्ण से हे कृष्ण से तुम्हारा कृष्ण दीते पार तुम्हारा सकती आछे कृष्ण से तुम আমি তো গঙ্গা কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো গঙ্গা আমি তো কঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো কঙ্গাল ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর আমি তো কঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো কঙ্গাল আমি তো কঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো কঙ্গাল ধাই তব পাছে পাছে হে ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে এ হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ হরে হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে এ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Ite Namine. Jai Prabhupada. Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvisesha Shunyavadi, Ashtachari Shatradine.
Charine, Nirvishesha, Sunyavadi,
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Chaitanya,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Everybody. Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo! Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Hey, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare everybody. Hare Krishna, Hare. Everybody, bolo.
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Everybody chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Bolo. Everybody. Rama, everybody chant. Rama, Rama, Hare. Everybody chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Haribo! Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jayo Jayo Gopala Jayo Jayo Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jayo Jayo Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jayo Jayo Nitya Gora Haribo 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 Nitya Gora Haribo 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 Nitya Gora Haribo 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 Nitya Gora Haribo Jayo Jayo Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jayo Jayo Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki Srila Prabhupada's Holy Vyasa Puja Day ki ISKCON founder Charya's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Baltimore Yatra ki Gaura Premanande.
Hare Krishna. So it's a very wonderful, joyous day today. We are celebrating Sri Prabhupada's 125th anniversary, even though it was last year because COVID. We're continuing the celebration. Right now, we witnessed a very historic moment. We took Sri Prabhupada out. We went on parikrama. Now we're doing Abhishek of Sri Prabhupada. We are very fortunate. We have two Sri Prabhupada disciples here. It's great, Anuttam Prabhu and Sama Prabhu. Haribo. So the rest of the program, after Abhishek, we'll have glorification ceremony. And then after that, we'll have Bhoga. We have almost 250 items, more than that, for Sri Prabhupada. And then we'll have Pushpanjali, then Aarti. And then another feast like yesterday. Haribo.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai 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 Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai Govinda 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 Gopala 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 Gopala.
Yesterday at midnight we had so many people here. Little kids couldn't see Krishna.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jayo Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Sai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Sai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृणापेक्षा जति हीना
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Guru
सकल सहने बोल दिया करो सकल सहने निज माने स्प्रिया हीना निज माने स्प्रिया हीना निज माने स्प्रिया हीना सकल समान करिते सकते देहनाथ जेत जेथा सकल तबे तो गाइबो हरि नाम सुखे तबे तो गाइबो तबे तो गाइबो हरि नाम सुखे तबे तो गाइबो अपराध हवे हाता अपराध हवे हाता कबे हेनु कृपा लभिए जना कृतार्थ होइबे नाथ कबे हेनु कबे हेनु कृपा लभिए जना कृतार्थ होइबे नाथ শক্তি বুদ্ধিহীন আমি অতি দীন শক্তি বুদ্ধিহীন কর মোরে আত্মসাত কর মোরে कर मोरे आत्मा सात कर मोरे आत्मा सात कर मोरे आत्मा योग्यता विचारे किछु नाई पाए तुम्हारा करुणा सारा विचार किछु नाई पाए करुणा ना होइले कांदिया कांदिया करुणा ना होइले करुणा ना होइले कांदिया कांदिया करुणा ना होइले प्राण न राखिबो आरा प्राण न राखिबो गुरुदेव प्राण न राखिबो प्राण न राखिबो आरा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय जय वैष्णव ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपादा वैष्णव ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपादा Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So, welcome everyone to this wonderful Vyaas Puja celebrations of Sri Prabhupada. And more than 125 years back, he appeared in this world to change our lives, and it's being changed every day. So now we'll have most beautiful Vyaas Puja offerings for Sri Prabhupada. We'll have first, we are very fortunate, we have two Prabhupada disciples. His Grace Anuttama Prabhu, who's our GBC, and he's been in the movement for a long, long time. And what a wonderful kirtan he led. So I'll request him to do the first offerings. Then we'll have another special devotee, Sama Prabhu. And then we'll have few other devotees who would like to speak for Prabhupada, 2 or 3 minutes. They can speak, please let me know so that it's not last minute. Anybody who wants to speak, they can just tell me and I can put their names. Our plan is by 12 o'clock, we want to stop the offering and then we can have the rest of the program for that. So His Grace Anuttama Prabhu.
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So this year the BBT didn't publish any books in advance. You have to custom order those. So I'm just reading an offering that I made I don't have a copy of the book. So, dear Srila Prabhupada, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gordavani Picharine Nirvasesha Shinivani Pashta Tadasitarine. Srila Prabhupada, on the back cover of your Bhagavad Gita as it is, we find the words of Mahatma Gandhi, quote, "When doubts haunt me, when disappointments stare me in the face, and I see not one ray of hope on the horizon, I turn to the Bhagavad Gita and find a verse to comfort me." Such is the impact of spiritual knowledge and inspiration. It can turn darkness into light and sorrow into joy. I have a similar experience, Srila Prabhupada, whenever I read about your life from the many biographies about you, especially the Prabhupada Lilamrita. You give me light and hope amidst the darkness. Through these books, I learned many lessons for my life. I learned to see a bit more like you see and to connect with you more deeply as the single person who has molded my life more than any other. I learned of the challenges you faced, the heartbreaks and losses you overcame, the determination you manifested, and the humility and love that drove you forward. I also learned that as Gandhi faced disappointments, you too faced many disappointments. Most trying, perhaps, was when the mission of your beloved spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, splintered. It seemed then that the greatest tool for spreading Lord Chaitanya's movement had been beaten down and lost. How painful that must have been. But that didn't stop you, Srila Prabhupada. Instead, it instilled in you even more deeply the desire to write and to preach and to publish. And it instilled in you a resounding conviction of the paramount need for cooperation amongst the Vaishnavas, the Rupanugas, the Prabhupada-nugas, and all the disciples and grand disciples of the Acharya. Studying your life further, we learn that years later, as you built your International Society for Krishna Consciousness to continue the mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, you carried that message of cooperation forward and you implanted that throughout your society. As stated in the 7 purposes of ISKCON, your society would propagate the values that will, quote, achieve real unity and peace in the world, end quote. You stated twice therein that your society will bring the members together. Yours would be a society to, quote, teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting, end quote. That is, by definition, cooperative chanting. Even your leadership model was based on cooperation. You created the governing body commission and empowered not one man or one acharya, but carefully crafted a system of collective leadership to be the ultimate managing authority of ISKCON in perpetuity. And you instructed the GBC and other leaders of your society to come together every year in Mayapur to discuss unity in diversity. Those who pray to make whatever is dear to you to be dearmost to them are always reminded of your prediction that your love for me, as you said, will be shown by how much you cooperate together after I'm gone. That cooperation is being sorely tested today, Prabhupada. We struggle to stay together, unified under your leadership and the banner of Sri Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if we read of the pain you felt upon the splintering of the Gaudiya Math, if we humble ourselves at your feet and ask what service we can render to you, if we bring your desires into our hearts to replace the urges for power and prestige that may rot there today, we cannot help but see that your desire for a cooperative global society to spread Krishna consciousness must be our primary guide, goal, and most precious mission. Please bless us to study, remember, and drink more deeply of your example, Srila Prabhupada. Bless us to see how you struggled for decades to bring the full opportunity of Krishna consciousness to the Africans, the Europeans, the Indians, and others across the world. Bless us to see how and why you struggled to bring the full opportunity of Krishna consciousness to the rich and famous, the poor and destitute, the black, white, and brown, and the women as well as the men, regardless of race, religion, gender, or nation. If we keep your life's practical example in our hearts, Srila Prabhupada, we will find that the love for one another that you felt can be awakened in our hearts as well. Guide us to serve humbly as instruments in your vision and your demand for a cooperative global society of servants. Let us be bound together with the desire to serve one another and the world and Lord Krishna. Let us do so in remembrance of your example, your sacrifices, and your deep desire to please your Guru Maharaj by building an international society pledged to cooperation and unity in diversity. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. We'll just do it here. Hare Krishna. So, thank you, Samanutama Prabhu, for the beautiful offering. Now we'll request Sama Prabhu. Sama Prabhu is Prabhupada disciple, and I don't know, many of you know, he was the temple president in ISKCON Baltimore when Shri Gaura deities were there. More than almost close 50 years now. So, very well. We are fortunate that he came, and we requested him to share some beautiful realization when Shri Prabhupada came about Gaura, everything, the shoes also, which he shared with me, so they can listen to those beautiful memories. And since it's been on Facebook, it's being recorded, so it'll be a memory for lifetime for us also. Sama Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. You'll have to forgive me. The last time I spoke to devotees was in 1978, so it's been a while. I took some notes, so if you forgive me from looking at these notes. (1876), the year of Srila Prabhupada's birth, was the year that Krishna consciousness came to the United States. Srila Prabhupada remarked that Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a small book about the life of Lord Chaitanya and sent it to about 50 universities here in the United States in the year of his birth, 1876. So the beginning of the Baltimore Temple is really the beginning of the birth of our Srila Prabhupada. There is a lot of talk about Nitya Siddha coming directly from the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada said that when you become Nitya Siddha, there's no difference. Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed for a son, a Nitya Siddha son, to come and spread Lord Chaitanya's movement. Srila Prabhupada talked about his past life being sinless and that he lived a sinless life up to meeting Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. My feelings are that when he first heard the words of his Guru Maharaj, at that time he became Nitya Siddha. All of his previous lives finally culminated in hearing the voice of a pure devotee. Now this is just my, not even mental concoction, this is just my feelings, I can't prove this. But Srila Prabhupada wanted us to become Nitya Siddha. He wanted us to become pure devotees right away. No fooling around, no wasting time. I wish I would have listened to him. Srila Prabhupada taught that Krishna consciousness is about individuality. We have to go back to Godhead ourselves. Association with devotees, worshiping the deities, chanting our rounds. This is for the individual. We do it in cooperation, but it's for the individual. Srila Prabhupada mentioned he had all these disciples. If he just had one moon, his life would be successful. That's individuality. One of his disciples becoming a pure devotee, he would consider his life as perfect. So there's still time to see if that happens. When I first moved into the temple, it was in early 1971, and the Baltimore Temple at the time was on St. Paul Street near the train station. And one of my, at that time, the morning class was on Srila Prabhupada's original 3-volume set of Srimad Bhagavatam that he brought here, the brick red cover. And in the second volume, I remember there was, in a purport, Srila Prabhupada was talking about intuition. And this I've been thinking about for a long time now, how important it is, understanding intuition. Srila Prabhupada explains that our intuition, that voice that says, don't do that, or something inside me said not to go there, and I'm glad I didn't because such and such happened. We all have this experience. If we analyze this, it's our intelligence is listening to another intelligence within ourselves. That, Srila Prabhupada further explains, there is no such thing as intelligence without personality. So who are we listening to inside? It must be Krishna as Paramatma, the super soul. So right there, he gave us the ability to see God. There is no difference between Paramatma and Krishna. So right, he gives us the ability to see God. Right away, he yanks us out of this bodily concept of life. The Guru is this external form of Krishna within ourselves, but better. Srila Prabhupada says Krishna will satisfy our desires. He gives the example. Sometimes the child pesters the mother and father, I want this, I want this, I want this. And the father will say, no, it's not good for you. But pestering is okay, take it. And we learn by we learn by experience. We should have listened. But Guru just gives us Krishna consciousness. Straight Krishna consciousness. Better. Better. So I want to talk about a couple of personal experiences that I had with in my early days. When I reopened the Baltimore Temple, it was the first year of the Mayapur Festival. And because although I was an insignificant temple president, I still had some influence. So I was able to get the job of guarding Srila Prabhupada's room at night. And early in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, I could hear Srila Prabhupada on his dictaphone translating books. And everyone's asleep, so my job is really just to stay awake. And after a little while, the dictaphone stopped, and Srila Prabhupada came out of his room, and of course I offered my dandavats, and he went to the privy. And when he came back, I offered my dandavats again, and he went in his room and again began translating. And then another hour or so went by, and he came out, and again I offered my dandavats, and he goes to the privy, and when he's coming out, I'm offering my dandavats, and he said to me, so you are getting good exercise. Who gets that blessing? Yeah. Another time, when the temple opened in Bombay, Mumbai now, Juhu Beach, it was after the festival was over, the Mayapur festival, and Srila Prabhupada wanted some devotees to go to Bombay, and after that program was over, I decided to stay a few days longer because I knew I could get on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada without so many devotees there. This morning walk was mostly life members. I was there, and I'm Srila Prabhupada's personal servant and his secretary. The life members were pestering Srila Prabhupada to go commercial, to start making this Krishna consciousness movement popular. And he kept arguing back, and they were persistent, and so he stopped. And for those familiar with Juhu Beach, they have that really wide, firm sand area. It's nice for walking. Srila Prabhupada stopped, and he took his cane, and he pushed it really hard in the sand, and his face was glaring, and he said, I am not going to compromise. I don't care if I don't have any disciples. And he glared at everybody. I was not petrified, but his glare was not terrifying, but you didn't want to be around it. And then he turns around, pulls his cane out, and starts answering another question. When the temple in Vrindavan opened, and Gaur Nitai were in their beautiful marble form, I just couldn't take my eyes off them. And never, because Gaur Nitai, their arms are above their head. So it's very difficult for someone cutting marble to do that, to the slender arms above their head. You know, Krishna's playing the flute and Radharani's like this, Gaur Nitai. So it's very difficult to cut the marble like that. So I couldn't, the golden Gaur Nitai. And it happened that Bhagavan Das, who was the GBC of Paris, was developing a big farm and had ordered similar Gaur Nitai deities. But when he saw them, they were too small for his farm. But I don't remember how I heard that they were available. But I approached him and asked if I could purchase them, and was able to go to Jaipur and bring them to Baltimore. So I believe Nitai Gaur Sundar are the first marble Gaur Nitai deities in the United States. Yeah. So for a year they were in a room while we were preparing the altar and preparing things and just coming to a standard where we could worship Gaur Nitai. And my anxiety was I didn't know what are we going to call these two personalities. I had clueless, totally had no idea. And at that time, we were receiving, it's called a cassette tape. It's a little plastic thing with a plastic tape that you put in a box and it plays music. So we were getting Srila Prabhupada's lectures on these cassette tapes. That was a nice feature. It was from Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Temple. I forgot the what they called that, their program. But we were receiving Prabhupada on these cassette tapes. And one morning, while we would have Srila Prabhupada playing during the day while we were doing our service. And Srila Prabhupada was talking about Krishna as Shama Sundar, beautiful, dark as a rain cloud. And he was describing Shama Sundar, how beautiful he was. And then he said, and as Krishna is called Shama Sundar, Lord Chaitanya is called Gaura Sundar. And hello, they're here. Nitai Gaura Sundar are here. So Srila Prabhupada named these deities. As he does everything else, everything is coming from his inspiration. One other story about intuition. Srila Prabhupada said that Krishna did not tell him that the landowner of the Juhu property was a rascal, a cheater. He said if Krishna would have told him, he wouldn't have purchased the land. So I think that's Krishna not being intuitive for Prabhupada was for a good reason too. So I was wondering, what do we call that? Not intuition. There must be another name for the opposite of intuition. But anyway, Krishna did not tell Prabhupada about this personality, and Prabhupada ended up getting the property for Juhu Beach. I think I should stop here. Thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Sama Prabhu. That was very beautiful. Did Sama Prabhu tell about shoes or no? So he didn't tell about shoes, but I'll add, he told me before that. So when Prabhupada came, Sama Prabhu and they had very desire that we should have something for remembrance of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada used to wear those nice shoes. I think you've seen in video all the stuff. So I think one of the one of the devotees there had a good relationship, one of Prabhupada's servant. So he was able to get another shoe, and without letting Prabhupada know, he slit the shoe and gave the other shoe. And as soon as Sama Prabhu got the shoes, they got the shoes bronzed up, and these are original shoes from that time, Prabhupada. So I request Sankirtan Prabhu, who talks Prabhupada, breathes Prabhupada, and yells in with Prabhupada.
Nitai Gauranga. Is everybody sleeping? Nitai Gauranga. Jai. One of the most amazing things that we have from Srila Prabhupada are his books. He's a special devotee who came here on a mission, and that was to give us these books. And you really have to study them. And then you study them, you might come to realize something. And what you need to realize is how to make some sense out of what we're doing. And Srila Prabhupada's books will guide you if you give it a chance. When Srila Prabhupada heard that the devotees were studying his books, he told Rupanuga, he said, oh, these books are so powerful that they will become so pure that they will be able to initiate while I'm still here. So we can't take it lightly, this gift that Srila Prabhupada has given us. And by studying these books, you'll also understand the highest level of consciousness that one can reach. And that is the association with Krishna and Radharani. Prabhupada spent many years at the Radha Damodar temple. What was the Radha Damodar temple? It was the headquarters of the 6 Goswamis, where they planned and they strategized exactly how to carry out Lord Chaitanya's mission. Make some sense of that. Rupa Goswami is a Manjari, an intimate associate of Radharani. So he came as Rupa Goswami to teach us the intimacies of how to become elevated in our service to Krishna. So this is so special for all of us. We must take it serious. It's just not some type of gradual communal activity where we just come together and go through some type of activities. We really have to pinpoint the definition of what Prabhupada was trying to do. He was trying to link us to the most intimate activity and position of serving Radharani and Krishna by giving us the 6 Goswamis. In the Nectar of Instruction, he immediately says right in the first sentence, we are under the jurisdiction of Rupa Goswami. And he said that Lord Chaitanya gave us the Shashastikas, but Rupa Goswami gave us the Nectar of Instruction. So we need to study these books to see what really Prabhupada was trying to give us. Another important point about Srila Prabhupada, I was just reading about in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya about Mahavendra Puri. And Prabhupada said, this Krishna conscious movement took 5 years to get around the world. Prabhupada said, it could have taken 5 days. But Krishna chose to do it this way. And Prabhupada makes a point. He said, but we must stay together in all the activities that we do. We must work together within this movement. We must work together. So studying these books, you can understand your position and how to be very focused on what we need to do. At the same time, we need to stay together at this temple to push forward. Because Prabhupada said, well, the materialist, he can't even analyze exactly what happened here. But the devotees, Prabhupada explains that by taking shelter and being sincere, Krishna will take care of everything for us. So we need to push on with this movement. This devotee that was just here, he was here in the humble beginnings, downtown, this humble house that we used to have here. Now look at, there's another stage happening here, another level of advancement for this movement for Prabhupada. And so the younger people here, you should study these books. You personally need to understand, and if you really want it to be revealed, what is happening here, if you want it to be revealed to you, what do you have to do? Prabhupada said, patiently study these books and everything will be revealed to you. So we set the goal and we slowly but surely traverse the path and the goal is achieved. So we need to make sense of it. We need to study these books. We need to work together and we need to stay together and we can do this. It's so amazing. But each one of us needs to take a deep, deep desire to understand what Prabhupada was trying to do. And this mission of Lord Chaitanya's is the most wonderful gift that we could have. So I pray to you that we make this next year even more dynamic for Srila Prabhupada. Remember that there is a mission here, and we need to understand it by studying his books. And I'm so thankful for everyone's association here, and that we're trying to pinpoint everything that Prabhupada needs to do. Neela Madhava is a great captain of this boat, trying to guide everyone, multitasking, and trying to keep this temple going in many directions, with the youth, with the singing, with the book distribution, with prasadam distribution, with the preaching and the outreach. This is all so very dynamic. One last thing is that I saw Nuttama, and he looked at me today, and I smiled at him. I said, you know, if in the Krishna book, it says that with the sun, every day the sun comes up, we're getting closer to death. And I thought, yeah, that's true. But you know, today, while I'm reading this Krishna book, I'm not getting closer to death. I'm getting closer to Krishna's lotus feet. And by celebrating Srila Prabhupada's coming and going, it's most glorious. So we're not getting closer to the end, but we're actually getting closer to the most wonderful existence. And that is association with Krishna and Srila Prabhupada eternally. So there's nothing that we have to think about, you know, when the sun comes up and goes down, but we can think about the progressive attitude and mentality of our desires to serve Prabhupada. And that is advancement in a positive way. So I just humbly hope that we keep on going and try our best not to be offensive in anything we do, and keep Krishna as the center, and follow Srila Prabhupada. And I thank you all for your kindness. Nittai Gauranga. Nittai Gauranga. Haribo.
So I wrote down, I'm going to stick to my script. Our Srila Prabhupada, a devotee who is very dear to Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that devotee of mine is very, very dear to me. And that devotee is Srila Prabhupada. Advesta sarva bhutanam metraha karna evicha Nirmama Nirankara Samba Dukh Sukh Akshami Santushta hai Satatam Yogi Yatatma Dharnishya Mayarpite Bano Buddhi Yo Bhakta Same Priyo Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. So that devotee who is very dear to Krishna is His Divine Grace, Nitya Lila Pravishta, Abhaya Charanan Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We get this clue from his purport in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 6. He writes, the verse is, Suchinam Srimanam Gehe Yog Brashto Abhijayate. One who has not completed Krishna consciousness in this life, he is guaranteed next birth as a human being. That's a very good news. But he take a birth in the family of a Suchinam and Srimitam, righteous person or Brahmana Vaishnav or aristocratic merchant. We see quite clearly that his father was a devout Vaishnav and they had Brahmanical culture. So he is born in such a family so that he can continue his next birth as Srila Prabhupada to complete his Krishna consciousness. In Prabhupada Lilamrita, Harvey Cox of Harvard University says that Srila Prabhupada is the one who has incarnated. That's a very powerful word, incarnated. This ancient tradition of India, Krishna consciousness in the United States of America and in the Christian world. Srila Prabhupada's teaching continue to inspire all of us, further appreciate the depth of Srila Prabhupada's character and devotion to Krishna. He has clearly left us with profound insight into his universal love and affection for all living beings, unquote. This is a very powerful statement, and we have to analyze it. How Srila Prabhupada made this happen and how he is very dear to Krishna, how he got the credit for this, to incarnate this Krishna consciousness in the United States of America. We have to look at, we hear the story of Prahlad Maharaj that he was introduced to Krishna consciousness while he was in the womb of his mother through the medium of Narad Muni. Keeping this incident in mind, I wanted to know more about circumstances and environment related to Abhayacharan birth. In the third trimester of his pregnancy, Mother Rajni Devi, mother of Srila Prabhupada, Abhayacharan, moved to her parental home in Taliganj. This is suburb of Calcutta. Rajni Mata was regularly attending bhajan and kirtan program in the courtyard of Radha Madan Mohan temple. The temple is just few yards away from her home. On the labor pain started when Rajni Mata was attending kirtan program there at the temple. Rajni Mata was able to walk her home and gave birth to Abhayacharan on September 1, 1896, underneath a jackfruit tree. By the way, this tree is still around. I saw that last year. And the lifespan of the jackfruit tree is about 100 years, but now it's almost 126 years, and it is still there. Now this home has been declared as a Tirtha by the Chief Minister of West Bengal. The Chief Minister of Bengal personally visited this place and placed a plaque declaring that this place is a Tirtha. During the first and second trimester of the pregnancy, at 151 Harrison Road, at their home in Calcutta, Mother Rajni was regularly taking darshan of Radha Govinda deities as well as participating in bhajan and kirtan programs. The temple is located just few yards away across the street from her home. So Abhayacharan was in direct contact with Krishna while he was in the womb of his mother, Rajni Devi, through the medium of holy name. If chanting of the holy name could penetrate through the material universes and can reach up to Goloka Vrindavan Dham, then the holy name certainly can penetrate the walls of the womb. After Abhaya was born, Krishna arranged his upbringing in a home of a devout Vaishnava, Gaur Mohandas De, father of Abhayacharan. Finally, Krishna arranged Abhayacharan meeting with Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, his eternal father, and after this first meeting with him, Abhayacharan was surrendered to him. All these things, all these incidences could not be merely coincidences. They occurred because Srila Prabhupada is very dear to Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. On behalf of ISKCON Baltimore personal offerings, dear Shri Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to you and all simple devotees. Happy 125th anniversary of the great day when you appeared in this world to dispel ignorance from this planet. What can we say at a temple? We see by your mercy that so many are getting connected to Krishna consciousness. Since last year, we had approximately 10 initiate devotees, and so many more are inclined to be in next year. Last year, we had a very nice year. We had a lot of achievements. We finished our beautiful Prabhupada Gardens, which is epitome of Panacea and beautiful, that devotees sit together. Devotees sit together, meditate. Sometimes you have classes there. We have loving relationships. And this is all epitome of your teachings, that we develop relationships and loving friendship with everybody. We continue solid book distribution in the top 10 in the country. We're doing Harinam, but not to the degree you wanted. But hopefully we can try to increase it further. We have so many festivals that devotees get exhausted and we cannot do too many Harinams. But I know that Harinam is your instructions and we have to do that. Our congregation is very beautiful, very pure, very nice. They have a mood of service and loving service. They try to encourage each other to increase further in Krishna consciousness, and new people are invited to the temple with open arms, which we see yesterday. We are almost close to 3,000 to 4,000 people were there. And everyone, when he left, they had such a positive experience to share. Prasadam was just amazing for that one. This all by your desire to feed everyone till the neck and feed everyone so wonderful prasadam that they would not look at meat eating anything else there. They only look at Sattvic Krishna prasadam for that one. Sri Prabhupada, your books are life changer to bring revolution in the impious lives of all of us. And we wish to increase the book distribution all around our temple. Our temple should be known as the Sankirtan temple, nothing else, because your desire is there more than deity service. We should spread the books, we should spread the holy name, and we should bring everybody there. One time you said, I don't care for if you are spending too much time to build a temple, rather have locked the temple and do Harinam and book distribution. So we have to, this year, our preachers have promised, and they're doing so much more. We have set new targets for Bhagavad Gita, 15,000 Bhagavad Gitas we are target this year. Hopefully by your mercy we can do that. 200 Srimad Bhagavatam this year. Hopefully we can achieve that. So that the worldwide goal of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gitas of spreading, we can fulfill that. We had hunger-free zone last year, March, we opened. As you said, prasadam is the key, how people can be devotees, or if even one person gets prasadam, even though he's most sinful, he can get a human life in the next life and get pure life. So we started here hunger-free zone last year, and we are so glad by Sankirtan Prabhu mercy and dedication and Sampradaya Prabhu together. We have reached 50,000 plates this year. So it's wonderful. On personal note, Prabhupada, I've realized that your instructions are not just perfect, but perfect. Like waking up during Mangal Muhurta and chanting during that time. If it's not done, it's a drag all day long. Many of us must have felt the same thing too. Don't wake up Mangal Aarti, the quality is not there. Quantity could be there. It's so perfect. How whenever I feel low and getting attached to material gratification, I read your books and create such attachment to Krishna and the life and the happiness you create in between that you get distasted with the material things for that one. I realized that one cannot preach what one don't practice. And as a servant of this temple, I try to do my best. But unfortunately, with my job, family, temple work, I fail to follow your instructions. Maybe it's my attachment to material convenience, my attachment to 6 or 7 hours sleep, rather than sleep less and not reading. But this, Shri Prabhupada, I'm trying. I'll try to follow instructions to the best. Shri Prabhupada, in a short time, you translate so many books, which was quickly established Krishna conscious everywhere in the world, from corner to corner, forest, hills, mountains, prominent cities, everywhere by so many wonderful devotees, so many people, seaports, airports, young energetic boys who were formerly called hippies became happies. I think that all the credit for preaching and Krishna Nam Sankirtan's world nowadays goes to Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And the seat and root of this preaching are Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta. I was reading somewhere, one of very senior disciples of your Jadurani Mataji, Shamrani, and I was reading something very beautiful. What she said was, she asked a question to you in Mayapur, and Prabhupada answered. She said, Gi, Prabhupada, you know everything. So he said, yes, unless one knows everything, how can he be a teacher? So one of the question was that if you accept Prabhupada as ordinary jiva, this cannot be understood. You have to understand he's a Shaktivish avatar or empowered incarnation. Any Acharya who comes and follows Krishna's message and spreads to everybody has to be empowered. Otherwise, how can he spread what Prabhupada did for that one? But if we accept if we accept him as a manifest Krishna, then it is easily understood that what Prabhupada knew, devotees' hearts, people try to say something, Prabhupada already knew their hearts for that one. In the first chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, it is stated that self-realized, very important point, self-realized Diksha Guru is a manifestation in the form of Krishna. Krishna takes the form of Guru to deliver his devotees. The same chapter states that the self-realized Shiksha Guru is a manifestation personality to nature of Krishna. In this world, Krishna takes two forms. One is the form of super soul, and the other form of topmost devotee. That to state that bona fide Guru is not to be envied by an ordinary person, because if he is envied, then his doors to hell opens up. Some people doubt that Sri Bhaktivinoda Swami wasn't Trikalagya or omniscient. They question that if he was omniscient, how could he have given the renounce order to so many disciples who later fell down? They see it seemed that they never knew the future. But those who think that way, they're completely wrong. They're totally wrong. They're not initiate real sense. They cannot understand things properly. Because the story of Lord Ramachandra comes to that house when Marichi the deer was running, and he cried, "Hey Sita, hey thing," and he sent Lakshman to save him. He just ran after that, and then he couldn't find Sita Maya. So realized that then he knew that Marichi was an illusion. But why did he run after that? Or Sri Krishna knew that Yadus will be gone, dynasty will be vanished. He could have told them, don't show that pregnancy type of form to the great Durvasa Muni. But he didn't. So the question arises, why did this happen? One may doubt that can Krishna do something wrong? No, never. Krishna knew, Ramchandra knew, they both knew everything. But they were engaged in human-like pastimes, playing the role of home times. What they did was welfare universe. Sri Prabhupada, he's a minister of Krishna. Similarly, whatever he did was for welfare of all human mankind. And whatever blessings he gave, whether somebody's fallen, but they are always liberated soul because they got attachment to Sri Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada, on this day, we just seek your blessings that our congregation builds love relationship. There should be no envious between each other. We should stay humble. We shouldn't look for position. We shouldn't look for recognition in front of people. The only recognition we should realize is to you and to Krishna. And hopefully, if we develop that mood, I'm sure our temple is going to expand times and zones like anything. We'll have much more devotees. We'll be a bit of purity, a lot of happiness. Thank you, Sri Prabhupada, for giving us everything. Hare Krishna. So, I'd like to request Advaita Prabhu to speak. We have, I think, 7, 8 minutes more, and then we'll have Pushpanjali.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada, on this auspicious day of your appearance, I look into my own life and think about that, what you have done for me and the society at large. You gave us everything that we need spiritually and also materially. Your appearance is a divine. You came from India at the old age. You spread Krishna's message throughout the world. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name and message was limited to India only. When you came to West, you brought Lord Chaitanya's message and Hare Krishna Mahamantra to every corner of the world. Today there are so many temples and so many preaching programs going on. This is all because of you. Of course, your pure devotees, your disciples, are spreading this movement under your guidance. Today, I'm thinking about how much you have done for everyone. You established this ISKCON for every person that can really take shelter of. You also mentioned about that ISKCON is your body, and people needs to understand and work together so ISKCON can be intact. And Srila Prabhupada, because of this pure message that you have given to all over the world, I think that everyone's life becoming successful materially and spiritually. on this auspicious day, I really pray to you at your lotus feet that please engage me in our devotional service. Please keep me in ISKCON and make my life successful. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you. All glories to the assembled devotees. Prabhupada, your mercy this year in my life came forth as a realization that continues to grow. I developed a sense of unconditional self-worth, a sense that I deserve to be alive, I deserve to be loved and taken care of. Prabhupada, you taught me that I'm not alone in my struggles and in my pains. And it reminds me that my challenges don't make me unworthy. My core self has an infinite and eternal value. You taught me that I am yours despite all my imperfections. You taught me that I'm Krishna's. In my past in my life, I had always placed my self-worth in my abilities, in my accomplishments, things I believed I could achieve. But you gave me the courage to free myself from those conditions. And your teachings made me find strength, become grounded in my humanity, and know that I am worthy. And more importantly, Prabhupada, by your mercy, I am now more eager than ever to share this with others, because I'm realizing that I don't lose anything by offering the same unconditional and infinite worthiness to others. My worthiness is not comparative or competitive, Prabhupada. That's something I've been learning and continue to learn. My worthiness is never in jeopardy. It actually increases when I accept and appreciate it in others. Srila Prabhupada, I'm still a child. I'm learning to crawl, but I continue to follow the daily practices you have given us and see the changes in my life. So Prabhupada, I humbly beg, please continue doing all the magic you've been doing in my life and billions and millions of others. Please continue to shower your mercy on us, Prabhupada. Thank you very much for being there in our lives, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pashtata Deshatarini. I don't know how many of you know of the bhajan composed by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj and his disciples. Yadi Prabhupada na hoito tabe ki hoito. There's so much truth in just those two lines that if Prabhupada was not here, then what would happen to us? I'm just going to say some small things on behalf of our Kirtan group here at ISKCON Baltimore. The 5 of us have been meeting for the past 5 years every single Friday and Sunday to do Kirtan for 3-4 hours. Prashant, Radhapriya, Jayant, Aryan, Jaydev, Isha, and myself, as well as the other youth that can come whenever they're free, to carry on Prabhupada's mission of spreading the holy name to the congregation and to the outside world. As Neil Madhaprabhu did say, we have been not meeting frequently for Harinam in the Inner Harbor, but there was a period of time where we would meet every single Saturday, no matter how cold, no matter how hot it was, and we'd do Harinam, sitting there for a couple of hours. And then we'd come back here to the temple and do more kirtan and just go on for the whole entire night. Even last night, after the program was over, the couple of us stayed until Mangalarti to do some kirtan, because without Srila Prabhupada, we would not have this with us. And I am not qualified enough to speak in front of all of the other senior devotees, in front of the disciples who have had actual association with Srila Prabhupada. But I just hope that with the Vaishnava association that I have, with the blessings of Guru and Gauranga, that our uprising youth can not only continue what Prabhupada has envisioned for this temple, but also be aspirations and inspirations for the upcoming generations so that they can continue what we have started and also add on more to spread the holy name all around, not just Baltimore, not the DMV area, but the whole entire world. Hare Krishna.
Now we have 10 minutes we're going to spend on a beautiful song which Prabhupada wrote on Jaluduta, Krishna the Punne Ho Vibhai. I'll be broadcasted on the screen so you can follow that. It's a very beautiful song. Every time I read, I just think about September 13, 1965. Sri Prabhupada wrote this on the abode of Jalduta. So I think this should be memorized and kept in your life. It's just how much beautiful Prabhupada was a self-realized soul and Shakti Vishavtar. We're going to sing that. Then after that, we'll have Pushpanjali. Let's start. You can see here if somebody hasn't heard it.
ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य कया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा गदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेव श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे.
Hare Krishna, just one request. As we said about, there's some parking etiquettes. And one etiquette is not to park under the tent, which is a Prashadam tent. So 2 cars are parked and blocking the sin. We cannot be serving anybody if we can't have the tents cleared. So requesting, there's a Honda 9BT6839 to move it from the tent. Another one is on a Toyota 6FPT46 to move it, please, right away. Our devotees, volunteers have to put Prashadam there, please. Thank you.
I emphatically say to you, O brothers, you obtain your good fortune from the Supreme Lord Krishna,
only when Srimati Radharani becomes pleased with you. Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Gauranga, the son of Mother Sachi, is unparalleled in his service to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. He is that great saintly spiritual master who bestows intense devotion to Krishna at different places throughout the world. By his strong desire, the holy name of Lord Gauranga will spread throughout all the countries of the Western world, and all the cities, towns, and villages on earth, from all the oceans, seas, rivers, and streams. Everyone will chant the holy name of Krishna. As the vast mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu conquers all directions, a flood of transcendental ecstasy will certainly cover the land. When all the sinful, miserable living entities become happy, the Vaishnava's desire is then fulfilled. Although my Guru Maharaj ordered me to accomplish this mission, I am not worthy or fit to do it. I am very fallen and insignificant. Therefore, O Lord, now I am begging for your mercy, so that I may become worthy, for you are the wisest and most experienced of all. If you bestow your power by serving the spiritual master, one obtains the absolute truth. One's life becomes successful. If that service is obtained, then one becomes happy and gets your association due to good fortune. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was greatly falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narada Muni kindly accepted me as one of his disciples and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave this service? O Lord Krishna, you are my eternal companion. Forgetting you, I have suffered the kicks of Maya, birth after birth. If today the chance to meet you occurs again, then I will surely be able to rejoin you. O dear friend, in your company I will experience great joy once again. In the early morning I will wander about the cow-herd pastures and fields, running and frolicking in the many forests of Raja. I will roll on the ground in spiritual ecstasy. When will that day be mine? Today, that remembrance of you came to me in a very nice way. Because I have a great longing, I call to you. I am your eternal servant, and therefore I desire your association so much. O Lord Krishna, except for you, there is no other means of success. Krishna tava punya have bhai. Krishna tava punya have bhai. E punya karibe jabe Radharani kushi habe punya ধ্রুবায়তি বলি তোমায় তাই Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Shachi Sutta Priyayati Krishna Se Vyajara Tulana Shri Siddhanta Saraswati She Mahanta Guru Jagatera Madheyuru Krishna Bhakti De Thai Thai Tar ichha balavan paschayete than than Oi jate gaurangero nam पृथ्वीते नगररी असमुद्र नद नदी सकले लोय कृष्ण नाम তাহলে আনন্দ হয় তবে হয় দেখবে যায় চৈতন্যের কৃপায় অতিশয়। মায়া দুষ্ট যত দুঃখী জগতে সবাই সুখী বৈষ্ণবের ইচ্ছা পূর্ণ হয়। সে কার্য যে করিবারে আজ্ঞা যদি দিল মরে যোগ্য নাহি দিনহীন। তাই সে তো আমার কৃপা মাগিতেছি অনুরূপা আজি নুমি সবার প্রবীণা। তোমার সে শক্তি পেলে গুরু সেবায় বস্তু মিলে জীবন সার্থক যদি হয়। শেষে সেবা পাইলে তাহলে সুখী হলে তব সঙ্গ ভাগ্য তে মিল। एवं जनं निपतितं प्रभावाहि कूपे कामाभिकामामनुयः प्रपन्तं प्रसङ्गात् कृत्वात्मसात् सुरशिना भगवान् गृहीतः सोऽहं कथं नु विसृजे तव प्रीतसेवाम्। তুমি মোর চিরা সাথী বলিয়া মায়ার লাথি কায়াছি জন্ম জন্মান্তরে। তুমি মোর চিরা আজি পুনঃ সুযোগ যদি হয় যোগায়োগ তবে পারি তুহি মিলিবারে। और तुम्हारा मिलाने भाई आबर से सुख पाए गोचरणे घुरी दीन बो। काटा बने छूटा छूटी खाने बाई लूट फूटी सही दिन कबे हवे मो। আজি সে সুবিধানে তোমার স্মরণ ভেলা বড় আশা ডাকিলাম তার। আমি তোমার নিত্য দাস তাই করি এত আশা তুমি বিনা অন্য গতি নাই जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल श्रील प्रभुपाद की
So we want devotees, everybody stand up. Now we'll do Pushpanjali. So in Pushpanjali, we'll be chanting Mangla Charan. Everyone repeat after that. In the end, when we glorify Sri Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra, that time you keep the flowers in your hand and make 3 partitions. 3 times you'll be saying it and you'll doing it. Few etiquettes you have to follow. One is please don't throw from there somebody's head. There's plenty of big space there. Come and put clothes here. We don't want it to put on the carpets, everything. So please be respectful and try to help out, move out, okay? Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. I request everybody to please follow along. We won't be repeating due to time. So just only we'll repeat Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitan yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jula Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambhode Padam Bhujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Gaura Virbhava Bhume Stvam Nirdishta Sajana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhoma Shri Jagannathayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauradishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishna Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Jayatam Suratau Pangur Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvasva Pada Bhojau Radha Madana Mohana Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastau Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Deva Prasthali Visevya Manas Marami Shriman Rasarasarambhi Vamkshi Vatattatastitaha Karshan Venusvaner Gopir Gopinata Shriyastanaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Esha Pushpanjali Jai Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Esha Pushpanjali Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Esha Pushpanjali Srila Prabhupada ki Srila Prabhupada Vyaas Puja ki Nitai Nitai Gaura Premanande
I can sing. Which one the other? Whatever you'd rather me do. Would you rather me do Arti? Oh, it's okay. Namaho Vishnupadaya Krishna Pestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ite Namine Samsaradava Naladita Loka Shranaya Karunya Ganaganatva Praptasya Kalyana Gunanavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitra Gita Vaditраmadyan Manasora Sena Romanchakamba Srutaranga Bhajo Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Shri Vigrahara Dana Nichanana Shringaratan Madhura Majanaro Yuktasya Bhaktam Chanayundatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Chaturvidha Shri Bhagava Prasado Swarana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangat Tripta eva triptim bhajarai sedaiva Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda. Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda. Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda. Sri Radhika Madhava Yara Para Madhurya Leela Guna Rupa Namna. Pratiksana Svadana Lolupasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda. Mekunda Yuno Rate Kele Sidhai Yaya Divir Yukira Peksaniya. Chatrati Daksharati Valavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda. Daksharati Tveda Samasta Shastaya Uktatata Bhavyatare Basabihi. Dintu Prabhuya Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda. Yasya Prasada Bhagava Prasado Yasya Prasada Nagati Gatopi. Yasya Prasada Bhagava Prasado Yasya Prasada Nagati Gatopi. Dayam Stuvam Tasya Shastri Sanjam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda. Dayam Stuvam Tasya Shastri Sanjam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda. Samsara Davana Lalita Loka Janaya Karunya Gana Ganadvaha. Praptasya Kalyana Gunana Vasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda. 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 Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya 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 Prabhupada. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nittai Gaura Sundar Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jayo Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga.
Haribo! Haribol, Haribol, Haribol.
Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Gora Hari, Gora Hari. Gora Hari, Gora Hari. Gora, Gora, Gora Hari. Gora, Gora, Gora Hari. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Jayo Sachinandana, Jayo Sachinandana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya.
Jai Jai Gopala Jai.
Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya.
Govinda Jai Jai Gopala Jai Jai.
Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo! Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, Hare Krishna. Everybody, bolo. Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everybody. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol! Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jayo Jagannatha, Jayo Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jayo Subhadra. Jayo Nitai Gora Sunda, Jayo Nitai Gora Sunda, Nitai Gora Sunda, Jayo Nitai Gora Sunda. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada. 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Gaur Haribo. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Gaur Haribo.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parichara Shosha Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivan Swami Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON of Anacharya Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parichara Shosha Divine Grace. Bhakti Siddhanta Sarvas Thakur Prabhupada ki. Gaura Kishore Babaji Maharaj ki. Sachinand Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki. Shat Goswamis ki. Prem Shekara Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrind ki, Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki, Gangama Yamuna Mai ki, Jagannathpuri Dham, Mayapur Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Dwarka Dham ki, the most merciful deities Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki, the most magnanimous deities Nitai Gaur Sundar ki, the most beautiful enchanting Shri Radha Madhav ki, all Guru Samal devotees, all Guru Samal devotees, all Guru Samal devotees, all Guru Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. Huh? Hare Krishna. So thank you so much for coming. This is our Prabhupada's 125th anniversary, and you have a lot of offerings. We're requesting everyone, when you go outside, please take prasadam first. Make sure everybody gets it. Then if it's left over, you can take home for that. Also on this day, we are also trying to celebrate a special T-shirt in memorial of Sri Prabhupada visiting 1972. It's a 50 years the temple was inaugurated. So this T-shirt says 50 years ISKCON Baltimore. And the day Prabhupada arrived here, Sama Prabhu was witness to that. And your T-shirt was showing Sri Prabhupada's arrival in Baltimore. So we will be taking pre-orders for these T-shirts. They're available small, medium, large, black and white. If you're interested, you do it. We're just gonna do pre-orders, but only for like next week or so, because then we have other plans to do. Also, ISKCON Baltimore putting a new fashion design for T-shirts for new people. Everybody else? This is the first T-shirt. This is the second one, which is going very simple and sleek. This is the third one. And this is the last one. There you go. So if you're interested, we'll have take pre-orders for you, and we'll do that. Thank you so much for coming. You made our day so complete. All of you guys came and danced. Special thank to Anutama Prabhu. It was such an amazing kirtan. Thank you, Sama Prabhu, for sharing those beautiful stories about the temple of Baltimore. Haribo! We are not sing the prayers now.
Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya.
Namaste Narasingha.
Praladadayane.
Praladadayane.
Hiranyakashipurvakshaya.
Hiranyakashipurvakshaya.
Srila Tankana Kalaine. Ito Nishinga Parato Nishinga.
Nishinga Parato Nishinga.
Yato Yato Yamitato Nishinga.
Jato Jato Jamitato Nishinga.
Maya Nishingo Hidaya Nishingo.
Nishinga Hidaya Nishinga.
Maya Nishingo Hidaya Nishingo.
Nishinga Hidaya Nishinga.
Vatsinga Madim Sharanam Prapade.
Nishinga Madim Sharanam Prapade.
Tava Kara Kamala Varena Kama Bhuta Singham. Dalita Hiranyakashiputanu Bringam. Kesavadvita Narahari Rupa. Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Tava Kara Kamala Varena Kama Bhuta Singham. Dalita Hiranyakashiputanu Bringam. Kesavadvita Narahari Rupa. Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Haribo. Tava Kara Kamara Varena Kama Bhuta Singham. Dalita Hiranyakashiputanu Bringam. Kesavadvita Narahari Rupa. Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Tava Kara Kamara Varena Kama Bhuta Singham. Dalita Hiranyakashiputanu Bringam. Kesavadvita Jagadisha Narahari Rupa Jayo Jagadisha Hare Jayo Jagadisha Hare Jayo Jagadisha Hare Jayo Nrsingadev Jayo Nrsingadev Jayo Nrsingadev Jayo Nrsingadev Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj. Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada. Nrsimhane Bhagavan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Gaura Premanande, Hari 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 Wow. So prasadam is served outside. Hare Krishna.